In this video we're looking at Sony's answer to Super Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog. We're looking at Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot was released in September 1996 in North America and the following November in Europe. It was developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony Computer Entertainment and was a PlayStation exclusive title. Set on a small group of islands in southern Australia, the evil Dr. Neocortex has a device called the Evolvo Ray and is used to turn the animal inhabitants of the island into super intelligent soldiers. He has experimented on a peaceful bandicoot called Crash, who manages to escape and is trying to rescue his girlfriend and love interest Torna. You're helped along with the spirit of the island, a guardian Aku Aku, who wants the evil Cortex banished from the island. You start washed up on Insanity Beach and work your way through the levels, jumping onto platforms, fighting the hostile inhabitants and avoiding falling boulders. You also fight a series of bosses such as the chieftain Papu Papu, where you must avoid his pendulum, the kangaroo Ripperoo, Koala Kong, and the gangster Pinstripe Potteroo, before you face Dr. Neocortex. The game is 32 levels and is set as a 3D platformer. The camera angle does change per level. For instance, on the first level at Insanity Beach, you're facing running up from the camera. However, there is some levels where you're running from the boulders where you are running down. The boxes scattered across the levels, which contains Wumpa fruits, and if you collect 100 of these, you receive an extra life. And you can also collect the Aku Aku masks, which protect you for one hit. Some crates contain checkpoints, which if you die in the game you can respawn from that area, and also extra lives, but you have to be careful because there's also TNT crates as well. This game does have a lot of sentimental value to me. It was the first PlayStation game I ever played on. I got my PlayStation for Christmas in 1997. I remember playing this along with Porsche Challenge on Christmas morning. The gameplay though is really sound. I mean, there's a lot of games around this time that can be really frustrating where the physics are broken, especially for platformers where it doesn't work, or if you jump onto a platform you miss, but I have no issues with this. 26 years on and it still feels really fresh, like it's a new game. And that's my biggest compliment for this game, really. It's really fun to play and it's really challenging. And I think with the bright colours and funny animations, it makes it really exciting and a really timeless game to play as well. I know this was released around the time that Mario 64 came out for the Nintendo 64. And it definitely competes up there with Mario. And I think with PlayStation wanting a mascot, Crash Bandicoot was their unofficial mascot for a short time. I think as well, the game made it a success because without Crash having the 2D games, whereas Mario and Sonic did, it didn't need to fill that nostalgia, whereas people fondly remember Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario World, and it's the same with the Sonic games. Mario had more success with Mario 64, with people calling it, for good reasons as well, a times classic. But I know Sonic's had more issues transferring to the 3D style rather than 2D. But I think with Crash not having 2D games before this, there was no issues that way, so I think it was more accepting for the games to be made that way. The game had favourable reviews when it was released, and it got a game ranking score average of 80% across all the reviews, and it won EGM Game of the Month. It went on to sell 6 million copies, which made it PlayStation's 8th biggest selling game of all time, and would go on to spawn many successful sequels, including a racing game which we'll get to later in another video, and also moving on to other PlayStation platforms as well, such as it was re-released for the PlayStation 4 recently, with a lot of people having nostalgia of the original Crash Bandicoot, and they would go on to then purchase the remastered Crash Bandicoot and the new games as well for that nostalgia value, which it's well deserved as well, because the game, it's a great game to play, it's really enjoyable, and you can really have lots of fun playing it. So yeah, 26 years later, this game is still really fun to play. I think it's the really brightly coloured graphics, and just the way it's really fun to jump on the platforms, making it 3D, the way the camera pans around, so you're not, each level is different. I think it's really cool, and it still resonates all these years later. There's a lot of sequels that have come out that have been really successful, and they did branch out to a racing game as well, which we'll get to in another video, which I have, so I'm going to do a review on that as well. I've not played it yet, so that's one of the Crash games I didn't play, but I've got it, so I'm going to play it and let you know what I think of that. But yeah, it's still really fun to play. The character's really likeable as well. I think that's a really big important when you play a game, that the character's got to be likeable, and he really is. And yeah, really enjoyable game, and I'm really glad I have it now and I've been able to review it. So that's it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think of it, and any other comments or questions, just drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you if you watched the video, and I hope to see you soon in another video.